Here we are, live on Saturday night. I've been up for way too long. We got in about 2 o'clock in the morning, almost 2 o'clock in the morning, from vacation with the in-laws. I'm going to have battery here. Let's bring you up over here so we can see what's going on. And I'm not going to be live for too long tonight. I've got got stuff to do, and I'm kind of cooked, but hopefully a few goodies here. These E-clips are a whole other topic. Just, I don't know what it is. Like, you'd think they'd be simple things, but Craig, hey Craig. I got a couple of things going tonight. I got a box. Hey James. How you feeling? Well, I know, as long as you're out of the hospital, you're good, right? Let's see here. Just trying to figure out what we're doing here. A bunch of hyenas upstairs. Why is there hyenas upstairs? It sounds like there's hyenas upstairs. Kids. What about your toes? Alright. I actually got 2 boxes. One from HL Supply, which I already opened. What did I get? I did get some interesting stuff, though. I already opened, but I got a few things here. And cheers to everybody, by the way. Paul Borden, disassembled the 350 piston, was ditched, having an aftermarket piston kit. The reason it was dished was to actually detune it, Paul. It was intentionally detuned, so it really wouldn't compete with the 346 XP. That's my understanding. Piston ring clamp kit. So, looks like a piston stop of some kind, couple piston stops, some clamps. Hey Eric, welcome. Just checking out some stuff that I got here. I picked up some of these. Hey William. So these are inserts. I think M5 and M6 inserts. And they come from HL Supply. And you can get them. I'm looking at these going, how am I going to get them in there? But I imagine the easiest way is actually to make a notch at the top here and use a flathead screwdriver. This looks like, was it 5/16? I don't think that's metric. But I could be wrong. Ah, I'm wrong. It's M10 by 1.25. Nope. It's not M10, it's 1.25. Maybe it's M8. Yeah, probably M8. So that looks like M8, and that looks like M5 in there. So that looks pretty cool for an insert. And I don't think these were that expensive. $1.50, $2, whatever it was. I don't know if I can machine them for that cheap, you know, my time and everything. So I figured I'd get a few and have them hang around. So these are M6. I forgot what I got. I don't know. That looks like M6. And is this the same? M8. Well, it's 1.25. It sure looks like M8. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So those are for inserts for doing repairs on crankcases. When a helicoil isn't really in order, you need something a little more robust, maybe. Just an idea. Okay. That away. Kev Berry. Just a spring with a tab. No, these are not springs. These are actually machined. This is actually like, it looks like M8 by 1.25 threaded rod that has a thread inside of it that's machined. Hey, Larry. I have a nice 394 here waiting for Larry. I don't know why I just opened that, but these are actually highway copies of the 455 Rancher pull handle, and I tend to think these are a little more comfortable than the square ones. Vacation was good. I did some cutting, so I'm happy about that. I actually got to do some cutting, which I don't always get to do, you know. There. Inserts. Where did I put this? With my other inserts. There, okay. The carb worked great on the 372, if that's what we're talking about. Hey, Nikki. Brandon's here. Nikki, what did I miss? Yeah, Kev, again, those inserts are machined. They are not the helicoil springs, which is, you know, something that's cool. It certainly looks like what you have to do to them is put a little slot. Different box. We're going to get to it. And unfortunately, the guy who sent this to me is probably watching right now, or will be watching later. But yeah. But he can't chat for some reason. I don't know why. The Sarge is having trouble chatting. These are actually 288 starter screws, I think. So that goes to the 288 project. If it ever gets here, keep getting the runaround from Canada Post. And a brand new Husky decomp. I always seem to run out of these. Oh, I got 2 here now. Good. Still 12 watching on your laptop. Okay. You got the family over, James? He's got the family over, probably. Everybody's over. Okay. This comes from the Sarge. And the 288 is still in shipping limbo. A month later, it's still in shipping limbo. It has not moved. I got the runaround from Canada Post. Let's see what the Sarge sent me. The thing is, the Sarge had Patrick. Hang on. Well, you know, I'm not the sender. I'm not the guy that sent the saw, so I keep hammering the sender, but, you know. Actually, this is cool because this, I know the starters are a little weak for the 660s, but mine is busted anyway, right here or whatever. So this will be an improvement. So these are just, the Sarge was having trouble getting his saw running just the way that he wanted, so he just started swapping out parts. So, whatever, you know. So he's like, well, I'll just send them to you. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'll just put these all in the bank here, you know. All right, so what he really wanted to know is whether or not I saw anything that was wrong with this 660 head. And right off the bat, the answer is no. JC Laundry. Hang on. Sorry, guys. I'm missing stuff. Back to Patrick. 372 kit saw on the way. Had a Blast 660. Patrick, remember, one of the things you want to do is the piston pin bearing. That's the first thing that you change out on those. Make sure that you get an OEM piston pin bearing on the 372. Family pizza night. Nice. You brought a crossbow. What does that have to do with chainsaws? Patrick, the Husqvarna clone is somewhat easier to assemble than the steel clones are. Well, yeah, the 372 clones are pretty straightforward, which is nice. You don't have to worry about centering the crank. At least I didn't. It made it nice and straightforward. Nikki, are all the Husky decomp the same stamp F or C? So just wondering. Hang on, let's see. F. I have two of them stamped F, bought at different times, but the other blue Husky decomps that I know of are like for the 3120. The rest of them fit pretty much all the others. Anyone have a 575 parts? I need some parts. Sorry, Larry, I don't have those models. JC, Matt HL Supply. This box comes from the Sarge, John, and the other box that I had did come from HL Supply, yes. Let's get this. Yeah, I was hoping the box with the 288 too, but it's not. It hasn't moved. I'll ring the carbon intake boot. Thanks. Okay. Let's look at this. Nice cross hatching. Not good light here, but I'm just going to give this the once over. What I do notice on this particular cylinder is I can catch my stinking fingernail on the transfer. Let me see if I can do that for you. There. What am I working on now? We're just unboxing stuff, dude, West. Don't really have anything to work on specifically. He was also worried about the spark plug being off center or whatever. Doesn't look like it. Do I have one? Or maybe he's got one in here. He's got these Chinese decomps. I do not trust these. Man, what do you get a 3120? I have no need for a 3120. No need for a 3120. If somebody wants me to do a build, then I can, do one for the hell of it, but I have no need to work on a 3120. Zero. And the highway decomps, no, I've tried them. They do work, but the plastic falls off, and the OEM ones, the plastic falls off often enough. So really, you want to stick with the Husky OEM ones for the best longevity. It's still not perfect, but it's the best. So yeah, these. Yeah, Husky dealer. Matt, just get a decomp for a 346 XP. It'll be no big deal. Let's see here. Fuel filter. I'm going to toss that. Chinese spark plug. Also something I don't have a lot of confidence in. If the tip melts off and drops into my head, I don't see anything wrong with the spark plug. It doesn't seem like it's sticking out too much, too little, anything. Nothing wrong there. I mean, I can keep the spark plug around for test fitting stuff, but I would consider it a useless plug. I don't know. To me, it looks like a usable cylinder after I take off the ring hookers with my Dremel. The intake's kind of funky shaped. Let's see if I can work with this here. So let's see if I got a pointer here. Something I can point with. So the intake has kind of this funky thing. I don't know whether that's a big deal or not, but it's really not too bad. I really like my intakes nice and square, and this is fairly square here. So that's not too bad, actually. Probably widen it a bit, but other than that, Looks fine. The exhaust looks a little too square for me. So this is a little too square of an edge. I like that to be a little more gradual, a little more rounded, you know. So depending on how wide this is, and you can actually see there's a line here. See this line that goes up and down, and you've got a few millimeters. You got probably about 5 millimeters there of distance before you get there. So you could widen that exhaust quite a bit before you run into trouble. Now, you know, the further you widen it, of course, then the more likely you are to hook a ring. But, you know, your call on how much you want to do. I would, you know, probably go 2-3 millimeters away from this up and down line. Patrick, I don't use a Dremel you're talking about doing these. I don't use a Dremel for that. I use a right angle, what's called a contra angle, on a dental handpiece. And I have a video on that elsewhere, but it's a Marathon Lab handpiece that I use. See what other goodies is in here, but where's my, here we go. So yeah, here's the contra angle. This is called E-type. This is an E-type handpiece. It's an E-type fitting. Just clicks onto there. So you can use straight or right angle. Here's the problem. And Brandon, we had a good time in Oklahoma. Got some cutting done, which is cool. Here's the problem, though. These heads eat themselves very quickly. So this whole part, if you get the Chinese ones, is like $15. If you get the really good ones, you can spend a lot of money on one of these, probably $150, $200, $300, $400 on one of these. But the bearings in here eat themselves very quickly. So on some of these hand pieces, I might only be able to do one transfer before it eats itself. So it tends to be kind of expensive if you're using these. But if you're only doing a few of them and you don't really want to buy professional porting tools, then you kind of, you know, this is what you're stuck with. Certainly the straight hand pieces work pretty good, and these take a while before they're cooked. So it's not a complete waste to buy one of these. This is like $90 on eBay. You look up Marathon on eBay and you'll have it. So the other trick here is that these burrs need to be, they're 2.35 millimeter shaft, and they're what's called latch, and they need to be, if you're buying burrs that are good for porting, then they need to be cut. Let me see if I can show you. So here are some carbides. Get into this thing. Okay. So here are some carbides. Now, if you wanted to say use, actually this one looks good. If you wanted to use this one in the right angle, then it fits perfectly in the straight. That's no problem. But if you want to use it in the right angle, then you need to grind a flat on here and a line all the way around so it can hold. And this is called latch. So it takes a little bit of doing, but it is doable. And these carbides are not that expensive on eBay. This is like $12 for a set or something like that. Anywho, let's see what else the Sarge sent me. So just looking at it, I think the cylinder is completely usable. Some interesting wear at the base of the piston there, but on the intake side. It's usable. I'm sure it'd be fine. Okay. So yeah, what else? The carburetor. I don't even know if you use this. See, some people have a hard time getting these to go, but I had a little bit of trouble with mine, but I got it to run. The choke seems fine. The butterfly here. Sometimes the rotation is not good on the butterflies, but this looks fine. Mine, I think, had a sticky needle. At least for now, we can use this for parts. Oil filter, that's fine. Hey, Arbor. Nikki, those are 2.35 millimeter. I think this was his original coil that he was potentially having trouble with, but wasn't sure. What the devil are those for? M6. M6, what are you using M6 for? The throttle pieces that are not OEM, just throw them out. Junk. The label. I think it goes on the top, not on here, right? Right. M6. You know what? I'm just going to take the M6 bolts here and throw them in my M6 pile. Over here. Cool. Got a dog. The bolts and the nuts, that's good. Those are the other rubber pieces too. The gasket. These waxy gaskets that some guys complain about. I'm going to just throw that out. Exhaust gasket, that might be alright. willing to bet that's a piston pin bearing. That is aftermarket. Get rid of that. That part's fine. Some other bolts and whatnot. Oil filters. This is that darn AV mount that I had forgotten about first go around, I think. And a multifunction switch that you need to get rid of because the OEM parts are better. That looks like a weight from inside the fuel filter, which I don't need. .660 Pauls. I don't know if is that OEM? Bent funny. Fuel filter part. M6. Okay, well, we could just. That's fuel. These are always handy to have around. So, not too much going here. Thank you to the Sarge for all the parts. I'm going to mothball most of these. The one thing I think I am going to use on my saw is... Oh, you know what? His is busted out too. Let's bust it out too. Yeah, I think I'll mothball this too. I guess it's better than mine, but not like it really matters. Anyway, that's about that for tonight. I guess good time for a cup of coffee. Just wondering, Matt, where the sold is 3mm. They're 2.35, Nikki. The 2.35 carbides. Matt, I just got a 268 the other day. Good shape, $50. Just need new gas line and a tune. Very nice. That's pretty sweet deal. If you have not changed the seals on that, if they've never been changed, just Matt, just go in and change the crank seals. Matt, you can buy 50 to 100 fuel filters in eBay. Right, so I'm not worried about the fuel filters. Yeah, I've got tons of fuel filters, so I'm not worried. So I had a good time in Oklahoma. Actually did some cutting. That 372 ran pretty good. Finally got the 350 running. That ran really good too. The 394 ran great, but it's starting to show some issue on the exhaust side again. Got some poison ivy to go home with, you know, a little bit. So whatever. I'm lucky. I don't get poison ivy that bad. I get little issues like here and here once a year, and that's about it. So could be worse. So yeah, so the 394, it may just have been the tune. It was just running a little bit on the lean side. I I think it was probably the tune on the 394. So just before I left, I richened it up, but I didn't get to do any more cutting with it. And it may be a year before I get down there and run it again. These look like head bolts. Put these in my steel stuff. Steel screws. Oh, good. What else? Let's see. So the power inverter is back with the guy, but it supposedly is going off to a UPS inspection facility. The 288 still in shipping limbo. The Volvo, I finally got it over to get the emissions tested, and it still got codes. So there's the PEM on it, which is the fuel control module. I have a newer one, and it gives different issues than the old one. The old one has trouble starting the car. It starts and stalls and then starts and it's fine. But the newer one runs great, but randomly cuts the fuel. So I'm blaming that on that. So because when I swap it to the old one, there's no fuel cut. It just goes once it's started. So I'm going to have to buy a brand fresh new one. That's $350. Lovely. Never-ending money on the Volvo. What else? That's basically that around here. I'm sorry for all the crappy video that was down in Oklahoma. That was annoying me, and I know it was annoying everybody. I wanted to get on live desperately and hang out with you guys, but the video was just annoying, and I didn't want to use up too much data and all that stuff. So, back at home now. So the signal is back to normal, whatever that is. And yeah. Anybody have any questions, comments? Hope everybody in the Faust family is enjoying pizza night. Thanks to the Sarge for sending me, something to go over at least. Something to look at. I think the cylinder's usable. I'd clean it up and use it. I don't have anything to use it on, but you certainly could. So, yeah, Brandon, but the fuel pump just cost me $400. Piggy's Pizza. Nice, Larry. Can you see the 350 one more time? No. Actually, James, you're going to be pissed. So I did have a special guest today. I had Husky Boy show up. He is Mason from, he's known as Husky Boy on OPE Forum. Husky Boy showed up today. Mason showed up today to get some 350 parts because he's working on one. And he got to run your 350, James. So he only made like 3 or 4 cuts with it, but he don't worry, he had a smile on his face. He thought it was pretty good. Seemed to be more potent than his. So I'd actually show you the 350, but it's outside the shed. It's occupying a very special spot out in the shed. And it is ready to rock at any moment. It threw good chips today, and it was You know, it's screaming fast, and Mason said, it's still fat. You know, so okay. No, I'm not gonna sell it on you. I know the whole family there was like, had to have somebody else run it though, and he had a good time in that hickory. You guys are funny. Anyway, so yeah, so it's running fine. It's out there in the shed. It's fine. I'm gonna go out and pet it a little bit here in a minute just to make sure that it feels good about itself. Doesn't get lonely or anything like that. Anybody have anything else that they're doing? Anything else you want to talk about? Otherwise, I'm gonna run for the evening. I will say thank you to everybody for stopping by and hanging out. Do appreciate it. And if anybody needs tools, obviously let me know. I still have tools in stock. Got plenty in stock at this point. It's about freaking time. Good stock. Really hope I get this 288, but who knows? Never know. Here, I'll put my email in here so anybody can get a hold of me. Obviously, get rid of the extra ampersands. And that's that. I don't know when I'm going live again. Don't have a whole lot else going on. Just got back from vacation. I got these cool boxes, but that's about it. I don't have any rebuilds on the table, and I don't know if I'm going to be working on the Volvo tomorrow or whatever. Good night to the whole Faust family. Everybody there. Have a great night. Enjoy pizza night. And I'm going to go look for another cup of coffee and chill out for the evening, I think. I think my neighbor might have a little bonfire going, so I'll go out there and hang out. So everybody have a great night. Be safe. And if people want, they can email me. And yeah, thanks for stopping by, everybody.